Hello everyone, welcome back. We're down in the basement today and I wanted to show you our setup for the indoor citrus, or at least the citrus when they're indoor for the winter time. Here's a Calmanden that's ripening up. They're just about ripe. Calmandens are like a lime that turns orange. They're really delicious. I just eat them whole, skin and all, but they're also good in cocktails or anything you'd use a lime in. So this is the citrus and feijoa plants that are downstairs. I have them under those hyper tough lights that I've talked about in the seed starting videos. They're just the LED shop lights at Walmart. They're like $20 a piece. They're not fancy. What I like about them is they cover a lot of area, and they obviously are doing a good job. These plants are happy. I brought them in what was the first weekend of October, and as I'm filming this, it's mid-December. So 2 months they've been inside, and you can see they're green as green can be. Super dark green. We got lots of good growth. When you bring your plants in, you want to make sure to give them as much light as you can. And when you start to see new growth, that's usually a great sign. It means the plant is good to go and not super stressed and starting to put out when it's putting out new growth, it's happy. Here's our Satsuma mandarin. These fruit were on there when I brought it inside, so they'll just continue to develop in here. Here's the feijoa. So the feijoa went through a little bit of stress at first. I think they were a little bit in a shadier spot in here. Sort of shaded by other plants. As you'll see, I took some upstairs. Here's a lime, and we have limes and lemons that are starting to flower. So the plants are perfectly happy under these cheap LED shop lights. There's nothing special. They're not grow lights. They're literally just the Walmart Hyper Tough, whatever they sold at the store that was 4-foot LED shop lights. They do a great job. I've used them for seed starting, and obviously they work really well for citrus trees too. The reason I have them in the basement like this, I can sort of put them all in one spot. Here's a key lime plant. Look how nice and dark that thing is. So these plants are getting plenty of, they're getting all of their light needs met. We're in the basement. There's no other light other than these lights. There's a tiny bit of light that comes through the glass block window, but nothing to speak of. This is a kumquat. Look at how nice that thing is. That's growing like a weed down here. It's really happy. Seems happier down here than it was outside, oddly. Now, one thing you have to watch for when you bring citrus inside, obviously light is important, nutrition is important. You want to keep fertilizing them when you water them. But then you also have to watch out for pests. And I'm going to make another video on that because we get the spider mites pretty bad inside. Scale can hit them too. Although before I brought these in, I sprayed them down really, really good with 7, which, people have their opinions about that, but I cannot keep citrus alive inside if I don't spray them first to kill all the scale before they come in. It's just a nightmare. Spider mites are easy to deal with. Scale is a real pain. Anyone who's ever had it knows that. But here's a good look. Those mirrors are just there. I don't know if they do much, but I have them. They were down here from an old project, so hey, why not put them up? Maybe they reflect a little light, brighten it up a little bit. Certainly doesn't hurt anything, but I don't think they're necessarily like a vital component of the system here. Also, something else I should mention, this is an unheated basement, so it's about 50 to 55 degrees down here most of the winter, and these trees absolutely love that. You don't want to put your citrus trees where they're going to be really warm if they're inside. I learned that the hard way. They like the cool, so an unheated basement is perfect, as long as it doesn't get too cold. Here's an upstairs one right next to the humidifier, so it's happy there. You'll see it has some leaf drop. This one the spider mites seem to really like. I also have a nice, these are pendant grow lights, just kind of Amazon, nothing fancy. I think they were like $15 each. So this gets a lot of light from the southern facing window. As you can see, super green. Except for those leaves that are turning yellow because of the spider mites. That's what's going on there. So if you have that happen with your plants and you're like, I don't understand, they're watered well, they're fertilized, everything seems good, they get light. If you see those middle leaves that are turning yellow, almost always spider mites or scale. In this case, it's spider mites. I'll make a whole other video. If you look at the tips of the plants, see that one there, that lemon there, you can see almost like spider webs on there. I'll make a video where we zoom in and take a better look at those, but I need to hit those with some insecticidal soap. That'll take care of them. Here's another area. We have a couple. This is a Lisbon lemon tree, nice and big. I've got 2 pendant lights for this one because we've got the Lisbon lemon and also the Kefir lime next to it. Now, I mentioned in terms of care, you don't want to put them where they're going to be really warm. So if you have them upstairs, like we have these plants upstairs here, you want to keep them where they're not near a heat run or a heat source. Now, we keep our house a little cooler than most people. Our house is usually like 65 degrees. Maybe we're a little weird. We're from Western New York. We're used to the cold, you know. I guess we're warm-blooded, but we don't keep our house super warm. So, 65 degrees isn't really all that warm. The plants are totally happy, but I do think they prefer a little bit colder than that, because the ones in the basement seem like they just are really, really going crazy. The ones upstairs are fine too, but I don't know. I almost wonder if they prefer a little bit cooler than in the 60s in the winter. When we had our apartment, we had like a back room that wasn't heated also, and so it was like all windows, almost like a greenhouse, but it wasn't. It was just an addition onto the old house, and it had windows on 3 sides, and we would put our citrus trees in there in the winter, and it would be like 50 degrees, but they would flower and go absolutely crazy in there and love in life. So, don't think because it's citrus, it's sort of natural to think, well, citrus likes warm, put it next to your heat run or your heater. I made that mistake, and it basically killed our plants that we put there. They weren't happy at all. They just susceptible to bugs. They were unhealthy. They're much happier in a little bit of a cooler spot. Not cold, obviously, but 50s or 60s is good. So here I'm pinching off the flowers from the Kefir lime because that one you grow for its leaves mostly. Use those in Thai dishes, curries, that kind of thing. It will get a fruit, but they're a very dry lime, so it's not, you can use the rind. You can use it. It's edible, but it's not really desirable. It's more the leaves you're growing that for. But these are really happy here. They get a lot of sun through the window as well. And this is a cooler part of the house. Even for our house, it might be like 60 degrees in this corner by the front door. So these are really happy. So when you bring your citrus in, you want to make sure you give them still water and fertilizer. This is a 50-50 mix of Perlite and Miracle-Gro that I made. And so it drains very well. You just don't want your citrus waterlogged. But don't freak out, just water them like any other plant. They'll be fine. So thank you for watching. The goal of this in terms of the citrus is just keep them going until the spring. And so if you remember that, you'll be totally fine. We'll make some more citrus videos in the upcoming weeks as well.